page. We thought that they had their number. We saw the draft. We heavily favored TNC, and somehow Liquid ended up getting a victory anyway. What the hell happened?
I underrated the troll pick, honestly. I think the troll pick, I thought at first glance, I thought it was going to be too greedy with TA. I thought he needed to be like a lighter hero, but he itemized to be that like early tempo hero, so Wraith King couldn't have the room to breathe. Because Wraith Kings are a carry that can usually fight early, but not against mana burn heroes. And Troll, he got Diffuser, so he became that mana burn hero. So we saw the game just blowing out of proportion before Wraith King getting that level 20.
I think that TNC was caught off guard by the sheer amount of physical damage that Liquid's lineup could pull off. You had the Solar Crest Tide, you have Gush, I believe you're talented for it, Troll and TA with the Death, so like it's just
the
so much damage.
Spare too.
Yeah, that perfect. And you also have Chen, of course, giving a little bit of plus damage as well with the aura. It's so much that once you get ahead, like once they won that one fight and took the mid-racks, it's really difficult for Liquid to lose, especially when they have the team fight of a Tide Hunter to rely upon. And we saw the Ravages usually, they're hitting 2-3 heroes per fight easily.
Yeah, so I think I was talking about how TNC prioritizes the Earthshaker, Sand King, and the Bat Rider, and I think Tide is good against all these three heroes.
Yeah. Well, what if you just straight up pick the Tide, huh? How about
I think that's what they were thinking too. Yeah.
Take a page right out of the book, and they're gonna first pick Tide. Ended up banning out, man. They keep respect banning the Weepo. Meepo still getting first phase ban, and the Beastmaster again, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, and I think if you compare these team strengths, I feel like TNC has always been just the kings of the skirmishing. They love their guerrilla style warfare. They're oftentimes like they'll make moves in separate areas of the map at once.
And what is the Korean team that we always used to reference that would have that sort of play style?
Yeah. I guess they learned a thing or two from us.
MVP Phoenix, the original man. The Spirit Breaker days of MVP Phoenix, the Caveman Dota days, and TNC Predator, I feel, are still carrying the torch a little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Liquid is more about that just controlled, disciplined Dota, and like they kind of just wear you down. If you're in a scenario where you don't have the ability to 5-on-5 them, it's near impossible to take them down because they're just not going to give you fights that they're behind it. And okay, yeah, for a moment there, I thought I heard Miranda like, wait, did Liquid just go ST Miranda inside? That would be good, but of course that is going to be TNC's hero, most likely the 4 position again. We can assume. I really like the SD Lesh, however, especially against Tide.
Yeah, Lesh is just amazing against Tide. I'm a bit surprised on the Mirana pickup because I was talking to some position 4 players that played Mirana, and they said that this hero needs setup. Like, sure, he can go Atos, but this hero is like, his main strength is the early mid game. That long distance arrow, that like insane amount of damage input, but without a proper setup, it can't land his arrows. There's SD disruption to like counter gank the whatever TNC's aggressions are. And right now, TNC seems like they're gonna have trouble hitting their arrows because they have no stun.
Yeah.
That being said, it used to be very common for Mirana +1s to be roaming around constantly together. Like in the Bane Mirana days, it would always be those two heroes going and taking a tour from lane to lane. Whereas these days, it seems like Mirana is more content that if my mid laner has a stun, or if one of my side lanes has a stun, then that's all you really need. So she really only needs one lane with one stun to be at least somewhat effective as a 4 position.
That is true, but I think more the merrier. Like
yes.
There's more play options, there are more kill options. Dota it becomes really hard if you can't farm out maps properly, and if there's a lot of kill threats from the other team, like a lot of like different variables, then it becomes that much more difficult.
I agree. It's these two teams are flying through the second, well, really this entire draft. This is the first time we've seen reserve time touched, and kind of expected if you consider Kuro and Heen. If there's 2 players that know how the other think, or 2 drafters rather, it's got to be these guys as they work together for the better part of 2 years.
Still plenty out that second phase ban. Sven ended up being banned out by Liquid, and TNC Predator respect banning that Templar Assassin that we pretty much wrecked shop on in the game 1.
Yeah. It's a long time, but this is arguably the most critical part of the draft from the second pick position, the turn, as we like to call it, because you just ban into immediate pick. And I think this is also, this was a change. Wasn't it just after last TI that this swapped?
I feel like it had been longer than that.
It might have been. I don't know. You lose track, but it, I think, pushed second pick into the better position to draft from because you get this selection and then you also get last pick out of the phase. Of course, they go Rubik, one of your prototypical tied counters. Does mean their support duo. Really, their whole draft is very squishy at the moment. Liquid could be exploited by a number of heroes. Like anything with like high reach, you just get on top of the Lesh, on top of the Rubik. There's not really much you can do anymore.
Yeah, I agree. SD, Lash, Rubik, both this trio of heroes, they're very squishy. So Liquid has to pick some frontliners on the next two heroes.
Yeah. You think of like a hero. I mean, it's not ideal for the game necessarily, but something like Ember, PA, you know, anything that can just get on top of Liquid, because you then have a setup stun if it's something like an Ember Spirit, and in addition you have Tide. So whenever you have this huge team fighter that's immobile, I like to see it combined with non-Blink Dagger required initiators, so that you have some ability to create chaos and just let the fight develop so that you don't need to Ravage to initiate.
That's why I really like this Rubik pick, because normally what I would have thought to fill the gap that you're asking for, why not a Tim's Earthshaker, right? Get an Aghanim Scepter on him, something like that. You don't need a Blink Dagger Initiator or anything like that, but Rubik famously so good at dealing with Earthshaker just because Stealing Fissure is one of the best spells in the game.
I'm surprised that Liquid have not addressed the Bat Rider with their second phase bans if they were going to go for this route. And Oracle immediately picked up by TNC Predator. This is something we've seen them use in the past. They're not afraid to take heroes like Huskar. Really, there's the plethora of options they could choose to just abuse this sustain combo. And now you have what will most likely be some super tanky hyper carry combined with the Tide Hunter. The team fight's going to be really difficult for Liquid to deal with.
I mean, TNC have had a tendency to go for Bristleback. That strikes
I
your
love
fancy.
that. That's perfect, right? You just run straight for these squishy backliners. And what does Liquid's draft do right now against a Bristle?
I don't know. I think SD is pretty good against Bristle. I'm sorry to disagree, Kyle, but that's what I think. And I think.
How dare you, Febby?
We're
all supposed to be friends here.
I'm sorry,
Febby.
he's a bit outdated, you know, like I almost made it to, he hasn't been on the qualifiers, yada, yada, yada. But I think they're going to be picking Juggernaut or PA instead of a Bristleback, because SD just owns Bristleback. His second spell takes away half of his HP.
True.
He's got like, you know.
Yeah, but you just purge that off, and then he heals back 20% immediately.
Yeah, so specifically with an
synergy.
Oracle, yeah. So an Oracle kind of complicates that.
Febby, didn't we play against each other all the time back in the day? What was our record against Immortals?
all right, that's true.
Kyle, I remember your Shadow Demon also. I famously remember one Shadow Demon game of yours at a TI qual where you just refused to Shadow Poison in Disruption and people kept blinking out of the Disruption. Infuriating.
I don't remember that. Must have blocked it out.
Underlord picked up by Liquid.
Ooh, damage reduction stacking strat.
This
all right.
is true.
You got the Fade Bolt, you got the Underlord Aura. Still, I think the Dream Bristle game, there is max HP damage from the Wave of Terror, but there's just I just don't see any like real damage to kill a Bristleback right now. And sure, you got the last pick, but I just think it's the perfect pick here. Maybe an Ursa, maybe a Huskar, some sort of beefy hero that just goes in.
Well, do you like that direction, Febby, or would you like more of the assassin direction that we've been seeing? We've seen a lot of these Phantom Assassin getting Aghanim Scepters or something like that. You don't necessarily need to stick around a long time, you just need to kill them really fast. But they're going to go for the Death Prophet, a hero that does like staying alive for a very long time.
Yeah, with the DP, I especially kind of agree with you, because DP Tide, they're just too fatties. I think right now from TNC, they need something
quick and dirty.
Assassins. Okay. Yeah, something like PA, Anti-Mage, you know, like those type of assassin heroes.
I think they need a stun, guys. You're completely all in on your support duo right now to provide lockdown. And I'm always a bit concerned when I look at a draft and I see 3 cores that don't want to impact the other lanes in the early game. And sure, DP can rotate, pop ultimate, take towers, but you don't have this playmaking hero. So if Liquid get ahead early on and their supports have an advantage, all of a sudden it's just naked arrows flying out here and there. If they don't land, there's no kills happening on the map, and it's then difficult for TNC to capitalize on the teamfight edge, because you need the kill to then secure you the opportunity to push for an objective. You don't want to just be sitting 3 of 3 and just like blowing your spells and walking out of town.
I think TNC wants to pick something like Void or Jug to
Got
complement.
banned. Liquid's one step ahead,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Okay, I didn't see that, but
But the chug is a good idea, though.
to complement their like 5-man, I think it's either that or they just want to go late game with anti-mage or PA, but they don't see enough information to pick those kind of assassin heroes. So
Can at least one of you justify this Underlord pick for me? Because to me, that seems like it's coming a little bit out of left field. You had initially mentioned the damage over time for Firestorm being highly effective against, I guess the Tidehunter is one specific hero, but is it really enough to pick an Underlord just for that situation?
I think it kind of fits the category of heroes that Liquid needed. If you look at the first 3 heroes, they needed a frontline of a beefy fatty hero
Okay.
slash a team fight item getter and a team fight hero. And
The
I
Aura
think-
Horrors, as I like to call them.
Oh yeah, I guess I like that term. So I think that's the type of hero they.
TNC's lineups also, the first 3 were very low damage. In fact, they still have relatively low damage output, especially if the DP ultimate is on cooldown. Liquid have, I mean, well, depending on what they last pick, but just because of the Lesh and the Underlord, like there's so much, they just spam spells, and you're going to be able to out DPS the TNC draft. Still
that's a
think
very good
Ember's a
point.
possibility here for TNC. Their tower pushes hand.
But I've heard Underlord was really great against. Oh, Berserk, Kyle.
Woohoo! Don't give Kyle credit for that.
You were waiting. I saw your note.
Wow.
That was me.
So they're a bit
Kyle,
more
why is this hero good? Please tell me.
We already went into it.
We
We're
did.
good. It's handled. If they
Explain
weren't
it
paying
again,
attention the
yeah.
first time, we don't get it. There's no repeats here. It's
That's
TI. You should be a fan. Last pick for Liquid, though. This is where things can get dicey because you need tower damage right now. You need something that does raw physical damage output. We've got to assume it's a miracle hero with the Leshrac for Wii. And
I think they can anti-mage for Liquid, and they can just hold on
yeah,
for laking.
I like a hyper carry. I think that sounds good. Whoa, fat.
Nice, we were both right.
Woo!
Don't high five each other until the camera comes back. Then we can get super hype. I don't even know if it will come back, but you called the anti-mage. Do you think that Liquid Miracle anti-mage, he's going to be able to 1v5, or what's the situation?
I mean, it has to be a 1v. I mean, Liquid, the other remaining 4 heroes have to play very well in order for anti-mage to come online, and I truly believe that SD is really good against the BB. So I think and we're gonna see that like at least once in the game.
I think it can go either way here, but it is a throwback to like that old vintage Liquid style where you have Miracle. It's a 1-4. It's going to be 4 heroes running around the map trying to make things happen, and Miracle at some point is going to be slotted enough to get a triple kill in some team fight, hopefully take the game. TNC, of course, want to prevent that. They got to take towers early and find big team fights before AM's online.
Well, let's see what the TNC draft justification is as we send it over to Casey, who's speaking to Heen.
Thank you. Yeah, Heen, I'm curious how it feels when you're drafting against your former team. Does it make it easier or harder?
I think there's a little bit of both because Liquid, since this tournament's begun, they've started transforming. I think this series there aren't really any surprises.
What lessons did you take from the first game as you entered your second draft? I know you can't get into specifics. You don't want to give away your strategy, but
I think we chilled too much in the game, and the lineup they used in that first game was something very similar to another one we used in Super Major, just like Chen, Tusk, TA, Snowball. I don't know if there's anything I can do with the information that I know about Liquid. It's just more about us. This tournament's about us and us playing the lineups and the heroes that we feel confident in. Of course, we need to counterpick at times, but I think what it comes down to is playing well and having faith in what we're trying to build. And
staying focused and playing your own game. Heen, thank you so much.
thank you.
Good luck. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yes, game 2 of TNC versus Liquid. We heard what the draft panel had said, and both Feb and Carl make some really good points. Some good calls. Indeed, the last 2 picks being the Bristleback and the anti-mage for TNC and Liquid, respectively. Kind of want to get your insight. The main sort of discussion topic was Bristleback. Can you play it in a game where there's a shadow team?
So I think Shadow Demon, I totally agree with Fabi. I think Shadow Demon is an incredibly good hero versus Bristleback, but I have to, unfortunately, agree, give Kyle a little bit of credit because there is the Oracle. That Fortune's End can be one of those things to always be able to dispel that Soul Catcher, and you can itemize for it as well. So we will probably see Gabby at some point in this game go for something like a Lotus Orb to make sure, something like that to make sure that he can always be sure to dispel that one off. But it's not always you're going to have the situation where you have Fortune's End up or you're in the right position to go for that Gabby. So that's where it can go a little bit of both ways. But yeah, Soul Catcher, very good ability versus Bristle. We have some other fun interactions, of course, too, with this Oracle versus Shadow Demon. There's some mixed between some teams, how Shadow Demon, if you Demonic Purge the target that does get False Promised, that target can't get healed by, you can't get healed by Urn, Healing Salve, your Fate's Edict constantly gets purged as it constantly keeps applying that Dispel. So we could see that come into play as well.
And what do you think about this last pick? The anti-mage coming in, not necessarily a carry that sort of brings us a free win or a necessarily safe carry, but in the right circumstances, it could be pretty darn hard to deal with. Is this going to be a game where you can see Miracle popping off and getting that good Battle Fury timing?
I could, as long as they don't get run over. I think that's the one thing that TNC's draft can really start to take advantage is just steamrolling, getting towers pushed, Gabby just parking himself running at lanes with the Death Prophet. Not a good item, blah, blah, blah. Somehow this hero slowly trickles back every single one of these internationals.
And one of those heroes as well that we've seen trickle into this game, but not into a lot, is that Underlord. Mind Control, getting the Underlord in this match. I feel this hero is a little underpicked. There's some aspects of this hero that seem incredibly strong, especially that aura, right? And has that bit of bonus as well. This hero turns into a bit of a right clicker down the line.
He definitely does. And I mean, we saw, I remember we had one at the tournament. We had a mid Underlord, didn't we? And that just dominated the game, just took over. I think destroyed like a Templar Assassin in the matchup. So I'm also surprised not to see this hero picked a little bit more too, especially with like Monkey Kings and Ursas being very, very scarcely picked. But we're gonna get to see it. And now they have another thing too. They have maybe that percent damage amp onto the Bristleback as well that they do have from that Underlord. So could be fun to watch. Good to see if Liquid's able to actually rally around that one.
See how some of the lane matchups are going so far. That mid lane, Armo getting the slight lead off the first few waves. Bottom lane, Kuro's going to go for the self-disruption, but TNC, they've got the 3 heroes ready to finish him as he comes back out of his bubble. First blood for TNC off the back of this aggressive tri-lane.
And they're getting themselves a very good matchup up top, this Bristleback versus the Underlord. Underlord's just getting pushed completely back by Gabby for now.
Yeah, Mind Control just about a quill spray away from dying there.
Yep.
It's got to be very, very careful as Gabby will head over, pick up the bottle from the side shop.
I like that actually a lot. You know, Bristle, he's making sure to spam so much that you can pick up this bottle and it's just fine in this type of 1v1 matchup. You're able to out-sustain very nicely as Weehaw. They're committing forward here.
And they're going to look for the dive. They've got the hold from AU. Crypt Swarm burst and a right click. Is it enough? He's diving for this AU. He's going to find him. Can he get off the Fable? Reducing AU's right click. Doesn't matter. He gets the second one in and will still find the kill. GH will look to chase. See if he can get his way out of this. He's got a little bit of a heal going. Again, another brute holding back GH. He's certainly making him work for it.
Nice little play. GH does have boots and a lift, so it should inevitably be an easy kill here.
Let's pop it in the salve. That is a salve cancelled. It still continues to keep AU alive. Weehaw will come in though, and that will be a dead Oracle and also a dead healing salve. So a little bit of lost gold there for AU.
Weehaw gets the last hit though. That's the nice thing. But we see these lanes very dominant right now already from TNC, the way they have it set up. Anti-Mage is still farming though, which is the most important thing for Liquid. But yeah, these other 3, Gabby just really taking advantage of this top matchup versus Mind Control.
That's Bristle.
Bristle.
Suddenly going to be able to start running down heroes very soon and even diving that top lane if Mind Control's not too careful.
Especially with AU up here right now, right? With a Fortune's End, a couple goos, Mind Control definitely could get chased out. He has to be careful of his positioning on this Underlord.
Bottom lane Liquid just trying to keep the mana low on Cuckoo so the harass cannot be there against Miracle.
Yeah, keep a tri-lane. I think this is what you tend to see when there's an anti-mage in the game. As we were saying, top lane.
Gonna have a bit of a shot here. He can TP. But yeah, no hesitation there from Mind Control. Instantly knows he has to get himself out of that situation.
So other thing we panel talked about a little bit, but the limited disable on TNC, right? That's why you can see why Liquid, not only just because there's a high intelligence hero like that Death Prophet on the side of TNC, but just look at the stuns coming out for TNC. It is going to be pretty limited unless they go for something like an Atos, which they probably will on either the support Mirana or somebody else. They also at least have silence as well for Armel, but their catch could be a little bit difficult in that mid game if they allow Miracle to actually get away with the game and get some farm going. But right now, it's looking really solid for them. This is exactly what TNC wants to do. Like Keen said in their in that interview too, they were a little bit too calm in that last game. I think this game, they're really going to turn up the heat.
Certainly these first 5 minutes is being cranked up. See if they can get themselves a hold of the 5-minute runes. See how they're going to get split up as both teams are going to try and prepare. TNC is looking a little more prepared, especially on top. They'll grab those two with the setup. See a swing round from the Rubik, looking towards bottom, but in fact, a little too slow for them. It's TNC, then we had to pick up the 3. Still that one on their own half of the map, which won't be looked towards by Liquid, so eventually they'll probably get all 4. Bottom lane, jump forward for Tims with the Starstorm. Kuro's got the stick charges that will save him. Miracle's hunting into the trees for Cuckoo. Cuckoo with the Jukes, trying to get himself out of there. Pots the stick charges, but that's only going to end up in giving more mana for Miracle to burn. And Miracle doesn't even need to get the last hit in there. GH and Kuro beat down on Cuckoo and get him out of the lane.
They're trying so hard to just secure Miracle's lane. He's even picked up like a Wraith Band early on so he can have better lane positioning for that anti-mage too as top. We see these Goos start to build up, but they don't want to dive into the tower under that Firestorm. Level 3 Firestorm now already. And my controls are covered. I mean, he was having a he still is having a tough matchup, but he's still 25-3. It's pretty decent for the Underlord in that matchup. There's still a bounty rune bottom. I think Tim's actually walked by it. I don't think he bought his bottle from the secret shop too. And
he should have.
I mean,
yeah,
he had a full bottle. He had a full bottle, so maybe he didn't want to just.
Okay.
But it's just gonna be chilling there, so he'll be able to fill it back up when he gets back up.
I guess it's unlikely that Liquid's going to randomly go and scout that position. Mid lane is going to be where Liquid look towards. They need to help We Are out. He's suffering heavily in this matchup. With the 3 of them in the neighborhood, they'll look for Armel. Armel's still alive, tries to turn with the Siphon, but they will have the burst damage to bring him down. Tim's not there, or AU quite in time to help out Armel. A very important kill. You look at that CS in the mid lane, it was 35-16 against 24 for 4. Armel having a sizable advantage, with that kill opening up for some very early pressure onto TNC's tier 1 mid.
There's no glyph. That's at that tower. They want to commit forward for it, but he is starting to drop low, and they will TP a couple more heroes forward.
They threaten a TP from Gabby to hold off, but as you say, a lot of damage done very early on in mid.
Tims will get his bottle refilled by Armel TPing in, so he's going to be able to keep moving. Oh, they actually did not refill the bottle. Whoops. Armel did not have an inventory slot there for Tims. Tims might have to back away and try to find that bounty rune if he doesn't know it's there.
It's because it's still there.
It's still there.
Tims,
check it out.
Come on. There's money to be made. I'm sure he'll see it on the way back towards bottom.
Yep, and now another rotation bottom. Weehaw this time with the SD. Easy setup, an easy kill onto Cuckoo.
No trouble killing a Tide when Leshrak's in town.
SD Lesh. Reason we are seeing it across the majority of the games. Easy to set up kills constantly. Kuroki even putting extra points in the Soul Catcher.
A bounty rune.
He's gonna
Still
get
there.
it. He's gonna get it.
Come on, Tims.
Tims?
He's not. There we go. Finally, this is still it.
He shrined as well too. He shrined and then he gets it.
Oh, Gabby. We'll get the kill on mind control. Always going to be one of those lanes where you have to watch out for that. This mind control Underlord very vulnerable to the armor reduction and chase of the Bristleback in lanes.
And just the sheer right-click damage, right? That's what we're talking about with the Warpath. You get that 15% faster and those 22 damage per stack. So plus 124 on Gabby when he was diving there.
And Miracle starting to get the basics into his inventory. Ring of Hell stun, so pressure will be kind of harder to put onto Miracle if it's just the Tide lone already. We've seen Miracle do a good job of getting the CS. It's been slowed down a little bit by Cuckoo's presence. Tim's also hovering around in the area, but Miracle, he's hitting the levels.
this ward that Kuroki sets up here is the one where it's like they're gonna set up for smokes or moonlight shadows from behind the tier 2 to try to kill Miracle, and this is where we'll try to spot it out. And it's a unexpected ward this early on, so it's a nice one that he is able to put down. TNC is not going to be aware of at all.
I'm saying again, that's what all four. Bounty wins going TNC's way once. More.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of.
Tim's as well as Armel. So no Atos to go for that like extra catch. Of course, it's pretty easy to just click counterspell for an anti-mage, but gotta be a little bit limited on their disables, but they still will have the silences if they can find the AM in the side.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's very true, yeah. Rod against AM is, I feel like it's good against bad AMs, right?
Yeah.
Against good AMs, the chance that projectile's hitting him without impressing E is... The AM's vision. Yeah, yours being that instant setup could certainly be what allows the DP to get on top of him with the silence.
Yeah, or just arrow connecting in. Or...
A lot of ways to time it. TNC's very strong with the execution, as we've seen many times. Inside the jungle, Gabby starting to poke. Liquid's going to have a little bit of a look towards it. Midnight Shadow will be used to try and get him out, but the sentry down there got the vision. And he's going to head over, provide some of the backup that's going to allow him to turn. In fact, with Kuno as well, Mind Control's in trouble. They're straight on top of the Underlord. Armel kept just alive in time by that false promise. He falls so low, but AU there able to save kind of both of his cores. Giving the backup required for Gabby to go in, as well as allowing Armel to pop off on the high ground. Excellent Oracle play.
35 HP. He was one hit from dying there.
He had both of them.
Oh,
he had his eyes everywhere. He was making sure that nobody I mean, really across the board from TNC. I don't think they could have hoped for. To slow this all down. They find the catch inside of the jungle. Liquid looking towards Tims. They missed the combo though. And Tims, he's able to jump away a couple of times. Moonlight trying to do his best to keep him safe as he's out of vision, he's out of sight. Tims is out of the way. AU will get left behind for his attempt there to save Tims, but Tims will be eternally great.
Is jungling right now. They've actually only placed river wards as well, but we see from this control that they've been able to have 6-6, but they've been very well at moving around the map.
Our timing set up there, perfect for Tims, but the disruption comes out from Kuro. We are safe, maybe even enough, a bit of a turnaround as AU. He's had a fantastic game so far, but getting caught massively out of position there on the front lines and between the members of Liquid. That's going to be a dead Oracle for 20 seconds.
And mind control, again, as we say, they try to take any types of opportunities where they can cross past the river and force the waves as far as possible from their base. So TNC has a harder time to make the move.
Arrow on arrow action here. GH is going to be the one that connects.
And look how long it lasts. Arbel is now unstunned.
That's a long time. That wasn't even the max stun, right?
It was not.
You gotta watch out for those Rubik arrows buffed up by the old arcane supremacy.
Yeah, you know, just a nice 9-second arrow or something could come out.
Is that the maps?
No, it's less than that. But
do the maps.
Okay.
It's less than that.
It's like 7.5.
36% of 5 on top of 5.
It's like, yeah, I think 7.
7. Yeah, what's 7 seconds?
We'll round up.
Dude, just to simplify it for the viewers, you know.
Miracle, he's spotted.
Tower is under attack.
They're actually hunting for him this time here. They have both heroes with the Yule Scepters possessed around here.
Oh, mid lane, what's going on? Oh. So big cancel the TP there, I believe. Gabby. See if we can find this up top then. Trimers out, Miracle, he's over to the camp. They do ping it, they know that he's gone for the greed.
They get the
He jumps up here. A little far away, can they get on top of him? An arrow does fly through.
I think that was
actually GH's anyway, so was just being flown through defensive in case anyone was trying to get on top of Miracle. But hey, achieve what they wanted, push him away, push onto the tower. Same time though, Liquid, they're getting objectives themselves. You've got to watch out and be aware of this. Lesh is pushing powers. We are take that tier 2 with the help of mind control. They're actually pushing up towards the base on the bottom lane. So for as fast as TNC's playing, they're actually getting a lot of pressure brought back their way by this Lesh rack.
Yeah, pretty much the perfect moves we see by Liquid, at least in response to that. They see 3-4 heroes set up top. They're like, hey, we have opportunities to go for like the rat throw, to go for the split push that they need to do it so they can keep getting this farm. And Mind Control pretty much has Solar Crest finished up, so buffing up the AM, it's all about the anti-mage that they're going to be looking to throw everything onto Miracle. And now Miracle, we mentioned some things could be problematic for him, you know, the silence in particular. He almost has the Manta done. Have to be concerned here for TNC. This AM is getting online.
With that Manta, Miracle, I mean, he only sort of dies if he makes mistakes. We have seen Miracle make some mistakes this TI, so, you know, don't don't write that off. It may still happen, but as you say, once he has the Manta, it should be a pretty free map for the AM to jump around and keep the farm up high. Obviously, there's still that danger of the pushes coming in and the AM being forced to retaliate to the aggression of TNC. But for the most part, if the game stays at a state where we is able to push out these lanes and shove them out as far as he can to make sure that TNC cannot get this 5-man push together down a lane, space is going to be there for AM to jump around the map very safely.
Exactly. I mean, that's literally what they've been doing for the last, like, pretty much the whole game, right? Just mind control in one lane, Weehaw in the other one, push it out as far as possible so TNC cannot group up and go for their game-ending play, which we could see them start to set up for here. BKB is finished for Armel. They do want to start really pressing that advantage, try to get these tier 2s, because Liquid, they're getting away with a lot here in this game.
Yeah, this should be, with the numbers that they have, a very quick kill onto Mind Control. They'll even blow the Ravage for this one. Mind Control found. Arrows out to Kuro in the jungle as they'll get both of the pickoffs. Instant TP's up top and the jump forward. Tims, he's got the setup for another. Yule's up onto Weehaw, who'll turn with the Yule's onto the Tide, but AU's ready to chase, so is Tims. Try and purge up Tims to try and get that route, but he won't be able to quite get on top of Weehaw. Arrow's actually going to miss Weehaw with a cheeky sidestep, but TNC, they've got the numbers. 4 of them are up. Another Yule's throws him up. Weehaw is surrounded, and they will deal with the push. That threat, that pressure we talked about, both the Underlord and the Leshrac, they're now out of the game.
Yep, and now they're just looking to push down the lanes as much. But Gabby was also chasing Miracle around, actually gooing him, and just keep chasing him when he was trying to cut the creep waves. So this is that timing. TNC have to make a lot happen. They cannot allow Anti-Mage to keep up this split push.
Anti-Mage Miracle, he is getting close, I'd say, to sort of being able to have a bit of a look into the fights, right? Especially once he has the Scardy, or at least a component of it. He's going to have good stats to fight with at this stage. Aegis will now expire, but they'll keep the push going, and a tier 2 tower in the mid will fall. TNC take another objective and hold on to that 4K lead.
Invisibility!
Miracle is farming under vision here. They actually try to get the setup. Tim's really trying to get some Yules into Arrow setup, but unable to. Miracle, he's soon gonna pass that #1 net worth pretty soon.
He is, and he's, you know, at this point where there's one tier 2 left to be taken, there's no longer sort of that free money on the map for the push lineup like TNC. The high ground push, that's going to be sort of the next level of difficulty for them. So no longer can they rely on those objectives to keep themselves sort of an item ahead across the cores. The map's going to be open. AM's going to get that farm. Bottom lane, setup's there. They'll catch out Tims. Miracle gets himself involved. In fact, he's the one to get the last touch. Level 18 on Miracle, and he has the money for the first ulti orb into that Scardy.
Pretty traditional smoke that we see there, right? The smoke from your base to your carry. We see teams do that so often, just trying to set up in case maybe Miracle's going to get ganked or something like that. They make sure to sweep the area, and now they can even keep continuing to transition this into a push. Weehaw, threatening always, and TNC has to respond.
Do have all the ingredients for a good defense. Cuckoo's Ravage back up in less than 10.
Gabby's just running through into all 5 heroes. He has no fear right now.
And they're having to get away from him as well. Liquid don't want to try and deal with this Bristleback just yet. At least when Liquid are being unnecessarily offensive. They know that they don't need to try and force it. They've just got to try and make sure the TNC are the ones on the defensive.
They just got to dance around him, right? Pretty much in the fights as well. They're just going to have to dance around the Bristleback for a while because they don't have great solutions if he's not completely isolated. If he's completely isolated, sure, they can look for something, but...
Chase setups here. Look for Tims. Timing's going to be off from Weehaw, and that's going to allow the chance for Tims to get out with the Moonlight. He'll sneak off in the shadows, and Liquid won't find the kill.
Gabby, look at him. He's really trying to get aggressive. They want to catch something here. He has a DD. They get the silence. This is so much physical damage that's coming in.
You know, Underlord just gets absolutely shredded.
400 damage right now with this DD rune. The waves, though, look at Liquid. There's no creeps here, TNC.
Bottom lane, top lane, and as you say, the mid lane. Even with no heroes in at the moment, Liquid had already had the momentum covered before that Underlord was chased down. TNC, the pushing is getting a lot harder for them as Liquid are more than able to make sure the creeps are never in position for TNC to take their tempo to the next pace.
Weehaw, they want to go for blood here. As they know, they're just getting, Liquid's getting too much time to farm on the map. They really want to catch Weehaw, but that's a boot to travel with a 15 movement speed talent, a 30 movement speed talent as well. No way you're catching this Slash. super speedy. Just continue to push in the side lanes. Now GH can do his own split push too with the Starstorm. So he's just clearing out those waves instantly. Definitely feeling concerned for TNC. This anti-mage.
Timing is falling down and sort of out of their control for TNC.
They're gonna have to do a big miraculous push here with the Aegis and the Cheese and just make sure that AM can't actually fight directly into all 5 heroes, but they have to make sure that they can keep their side lanes pushed in. They're unable to reduce. Oh, the arrow.
Good little snipe of GH in the trees for Tims. Tims will look to close the gap, but GH is able to get out with the blink dagger. No instance of damage in upon him in time to stop him from making that getaway.
Yeah, Tim's got a little spooked when he saw the AM illusion. Think it could be real.
27 minutes in, 8 to 10. Definitely sort of the kills that, as that anti-major looking at the top and being very happy with the state of the game.
You look at anti-mage, 330 last hits, 1-0 and 2.
Yep.
He is getting uncontested farm. He's just blinking around the map freely, and they're not able to get the ward coverage to actually watch him. We've been seeing TNC, they've been getting de-warded quite a lot from Kuroki. He actually got 2 of the recent observer wards, and he's just been moving around the map all over the place, getting them. Just keeping it Miracle safe to farm up the map and then just keep split pushing the side. So they have great reads on the map from how TNC wants to play. You know, TNC, it's pretty telltale how they want to be moving. Grouping up, going for the push all the time. So just keep split pushing. But that Roche, like we said, the next thing big on the menu for TNC. And still contesting fights, 5v5 fights from Liquid is still going to be quite difficult. When Exorcism is already popped and they have the front line at the BKBs are there to protect versus the Mana Burn for Armel, as well as, I believe, Gabby also bought a BKB. So I think maybe this is double BKB time and get Aegis Cheese, end the game for TNC. I think they really want to force the issue here and try to end it before Miracle is able to do any more shenanigans.
Let's talk about this a bit. Well, Tims, he's just picked up a blink dagger on the Mirana, so he is just going all in on getting the blink Yule set up.
Catch, yeah. He needs to catch. That is what it seems. They have to try to catch the split push somehow, and Tim seems to be thinking this is the best solution before he can get something like a Hex, which is he just queues up immediately right afterwards. So they need other ways to catch this anti-mage's mind control. We'll get easy the drop down here.
Back to being able to grab some of those objectives. Roshan, Cheese on Armel, Aegis on Gabby and a dead Underlord. Playing Miracle.
That actually hits the real one.
But the setup with that stun. TP's coming in, but Miracle's already out of the tree and will make the retreat. TNC. It's all about these next few minutes of gameplay. They've got to do something with this Aegis and Cheese top lane. We are trying to fight for this. He is on his own. He does want to look for this sort of solo pickup potential, but backup's in town for Tims. A is around, and Weeha now has to just get out of there.
He's just way too speedy. Even with that blink dagger, they can't catch up to him. And also, he has BKB the whole time. BKB to TP out would be probably just easy enough for him to get away.
Can they get this push together? Both
really not
lanes.
letting them every time.
Yeah, they're just constantly the side lanes always pushed onto TNC's half of the map. So they can do this. They can go all in on the middle. But if it's not a massively successful siege attempt, if they don't get to the racks, the mid lanes are going to start knocking at their own tier 3s.
They have a creep wave in the mid lane. This is what we were saying. This might just be the PG push that they're trying to do here. Exorcism pop. They got the Aghanims, the Cheese, the Aegis. They have to get something taken down here for them.
Let's see what they get. One of the pluses we did see Tims was able to cancel the TP of Weeha, so Weeha can't get back.
Weeha cannot get back. What? Or 20 seconds?
20 seconds on the box.
They're full split pushing.
And they're finally putting back to protection. They're nearly actually getting that tier 3 tower. They won't quite. The rest of Liquid will be able to push them back.
They're getting 2 towers here.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Oh my god.
This is the problem, TNC. They weren't able to really get this push together early on, and now it's very vulnerable to these sort of rat plays occurring. Weeha is out with the BKB TP. And the game now in a bit of a worrying state for TNC as the question has, it has to be asked, have TNC missed their timing?
It could feel like that at this point. They still have lots of damage that they can deal and go down, but Miracle, how the hell are they gonna kill this anti-mage? Now with full BKB finished as well. Uh-oh, TNC.
It says it's 50-50 on the win probability. I mean, I guess, Gaben still really sees that chance of TNC being able to run down mid and just, I guess, taking that tier 3, maybe even just going straight tier 4s and Ancients before Liquid's able to react or take the side lanes. But you look at this anti-mage and you say, well, Miracle he can go for the rat plays, but he can also turn up to the fight.
Yeah, he can start turning up to the fights for sure. It does feel like Liquid have the better control in the game so far here now. Even though TNC, they have Aegis and Cheese, they have to make something big happen. They're gonna smoke, they're gonna try to keep forcing this issue. Right now they're gonna be parking Gabby actually bottom, so they can have two lanes at least pushing in, so they don't have to worry about some split push where they lose their mid lane, creep wave, they'll at least have a bottom wave too. But immediately Liquid, they're not gonna allow that. They're gonna start trying to fight.
Straight in on mid onto Tims, and Tims is gone. We'll look towards Armel's top catcher, brings him low, pop the BKB. The Miracle's on top of him, and pop the cheese, he's back up to full. He's trying to keep himself alive with the Spirit Siphons. Miracle's just staying on top of the target. Any save for Armel, it's going to try and tell him with the silent self-fuel, so he'll get himself up in the air. Healing up the stun down, but we are BKB's out. Boss Promise will keep Armel alive for a little bit, but the Mana Point's going to do serious damage. Miracle staying on him. Ravage comes out for Cuckoo. TNC looking for the turnaround, but they've lost Armel. They'll get Weehawk. Can they get Miracle? He's too tanky and will be easily able to blink back out of the fight. Gabby, he's out of mana, but he's still punching into Kuro. Mind control said, boys, it's time to go home. Kuro's not coming home tonight, though. Will be mind control on his own, rifting away. Miracle straight back into the mid, keeping that pressure on. So the fact that Liquid have lost two, in fact, he's nearly turning and bringing down Tims and Gabby with him. Will finally fall. So they get the 3 kills, TNC, but as you see, they get the kills, the Tims had to buy back. The gold lead is still growing for Liquid. And again, look at those creep waves. Despite the fact that TNC have killed 3, without their Death Prophet alive, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to do anything with this time.
Yeah, as soon as they're chasing GH, and Miracle's already blinking away, going for the creep waves. He knows the priority in this game. Just don't ever let them hit your base. And they're not really letting TNC get to that. And we saw the Iascati coming into play there. We see why Miracle picked it up versus these BKBs that TNC were getting. He can just keep the chase on.
Oh, he can, and we saw he was just blinking into the high ground next to a tie, gets ravaged. At this point, it doesn't really matter. The AM, he's out of control.
Yeah, he is absolutely out of control. They do not have that straight physical damage to do. And sure, like Bristleback can deal that hard physical damage, but he's not something like you're like some super physical hero that just like really will just stick on him and kill him, like you see like the Lifesteers, the Basher, Slark, or something like that. Someone who can really just bring it to him. Yeah, Liquid now with a very good control of this game, and they're just keeping the lanes always pushed in.
So hard for TNC to make a play. Their lineup really was all drafted around those early pushes. They did a good job of taking over control of the map early on, but they couldn't quite shut down the anti-mage's farm, and now they have some huge problems to deal with.
Miracle he's just like, I'm just gonna keep farming. That's all he really needs to do in this game. Keep farming. 2-0-3, almost 500 last hits at this 34-minute mark. And all they want is this game to go late for Liquid.
Every minute on that clock becomes more and more painful for TNC.
We start seeing that tick start happening. Of course, in the Dota Plus, it's really starting to feel that anti-mage's pressure. It's up to a 62% from that 50-50. Once that Aegis and once Armel does die, the Aegis gets reclaimed. And did they actually end up using the cheese as well?
Oh, they did.
They ended up using it as well on top. So they've used pretty much everything, and they just keep this push, keep the split push. We are now taking out shrines, it looks like. TNC just running around trying to catch pretty much anything. It's a game of cat and mouse. Liquid really is just controlling the map way better here.
Not being caught out either. Into the trees, instant TPs down to the wave down bottom.
Miracle just, keeps blinking around just freely. Even when right now, they're starting to have an idea of where he is. But he's jumping in. Hey, you quickly has to glimmer himself.
Miracle just hitting the shrine alone.
Right in the middle of him.
What can they do? What can they do about this anti-mage?
He's got BKB.
He forces AU.
He gets out.
Do they have the damage? There's a disruption that's going to be able to buy him time. Kuro giving Miracle more than enough chance to pop that BKB and get out of there. Kuro will die for trying to save Miracle and, of course, succeeding.
That was, I mean, Kuroki's positioning there was phenomenal. They even saw him, and he's still able to get that perfect disruption. Whew, Miracle definitely looking like he would have gotten brought down there from all that damage.
And it's also, Armel did pop the Ghost in the hope that they would have the control to lock Miracle down. So Ghosts aren't going to be there for TNC to even think about making a play around.
And Ravage, they used both of their big long cooldown ultimates and weren't able to find this. Now Weehawk, immediately when TNC starts splitting up, he finds an opportunity for a kill. He doesn't have a TP available. He has BKB, so he will be able to just run away.
They just can't get a hold of any of these heroes, TNC.
No, they cannot. And now
Only
we
the
see-
supports getting picked off, and in situations where they do not mind dying at all. Level 25 on Anti-Mage.
Yep.
It's got that extra counter spell, magic resistance. So I don't know how TNC. This
He's a
looks
tanky
like
one.
this
Tanky
looks like an impossible game for TNC right now.
It really is. It's been feeling like that for quite a
Everything's
while
against
now.
them.
Liquid just addressing the split push. They're just constantly pushing those side lanes throughout the whole game. It really did feel like it was 36 or like 29 minutes where TNC had some like control running around the map, but Liquid just constantly pushing the sides. And you can tell they're probably feeling the same way. They're probably like, this anti-mage is just out of control.
Dire's top shrine.
The loom and gloom. We always, I know a lot of pros, a lot of players have always said it when you're playing versus like these anti-mages and Medusas and stuff, when they're just off the map the majority of the game, the back of your mind, you're just thinking about it constantly. You're like, uh-oh, that ticking time bomb.
I am farm rising. Cuckoo, it's got eyes on him. Miracle, he'll turn. Cuckoo has to put the BKB and head back. Liquid, they've got the full team here ready to fight. This time they're not messing around, they're ready to start some action off. Abby will start to look for the lead in, gets himself on top of Kuro. Kuro should be the first to 48. The start of grabbing. As Miracle locks down onto Armel, they will lose Kuroki, but Miracle's going to start to pick apart the backline as jumps forward up to the high ground for the chase. My controller, we are burning down Cuckoo. Gabby trying to commit for a kill with his BKBs onto my controller.
Oh, the stall.
GH making sure that my control can get himself out alive. Miracle and we are turned to get themselves on top of Gabby, beginning to burn down the mana. Miracle's over to look towards Tim's. The self-heals by sometimes for Tim's. He's back down. Armel has got the ghosts, but there's already Tim's dead. AU as well. It's a buyback from Cuckoo. Can they get any kills out of this? They have found We are will fall. So TNC are able to find a pretty big kill, taking the Leshrac out, but still
Such a costly one. A buyback from Cuckoo.
Yep, and Miracle's reign continues in this game where they cannot do anything about the anti-mage.
GH having a little bit of a showcase right there, having that Stone Ravage from earlier, then also blinking and stealing the False Promise. Some clutch little plays there from him, but Miracle just continuing to keep this split push and keep himself in such a great spot. Looking to pressure Gabby a little bit here. Can't kill him, but get rid of that mana.
I mean,
How does TNC do it?
Is there any sort of item you can look at TNC's lineup and say, well, this combination might at least give them a chance of killing this AM? Because obviously once they do, it's going to be a lot of money. And hey, we've all seen those games where it looks seemingly impossible to lose. This AM free farm hasn't died. Dies once, dies again, no buyback, and game's over. Maybe that can happen, and that's obviously the situation that TNC are trying to force onto Liquid.
Looking like a pretty hard one, though, as Cuckoo, he does have a BKB to prevent that mana burn. Fully defensive BKB, though. And back to the Roche pit, we see Miracle go inside. They know there's no ghosts. The fight for TNC, their damage is not there at all if they try to take it to Liquid right now. Gabby will start poking himself toward the front line, but Gabby's also kind of low on mana. Only 300 on him.
Well, that's the thing, he loses a cent over and the mana's gone.
He's completely out of mana. Miracle's in. Onto Cuckoo, also burns all of his mana, so 2 heroes on TNC have no spells.
As if they can't offer anything to the fight. Mana is burned, they're held outside. Demonic Purge being as well used to keep him outside of the pistol. Now will flow through, won't make the connection. Miracle's able to pick up the Aegis. 3-4 yards able to grab the cheese. They'll get Roshan Liquid, and now they'll look to try and find some of these kills.
Armel can't run. Scotty is too much onto him. The arrow connects onto Miracle. They're trying to disengage on TNC, but they can't run. The
Miracle is just running into the 5 of them. An arrow does come out. Gabby pops his BKB again. The mana got Gabby has nothing to fight with. They'll continue the chase. Miracle's in onto AU. A false promise having to be used upon himself to get him out of there. They're very tanky, TNC. They don't die easily, but they are also unable to do anything easily at all. These heroes now rendered useless as Miracle's in. He sees a chance to blow up AU with a mana void, and her arrow does come out again. Stolen arrow onto Tim's with an extra Arcane Supremacy debuff increased. He has no chance at all. Gabby's in, and as soon as he's in, the mana is out. Miracle just diving past tier 3 onto the support, running down AU, jump forward again. It's a triple kill for Miracle. He's just slowly dismantling TNC and slowly doing his best to take them out of the tournament. BKB popped. He's not going anywhere.
Still no fear. There we go. Now he's gonna give him some respect. Back up. But
he knows. I mean, it's 12k, 13k lead. There is no answer at all, as it seems, for this anti-mage. They'll set up a narrow.
They got this one here connected. He has
Manta and also has the blink. They won't even be able to touch that Aegis or get near to touching it.
I just have no damage for him at all anymore. He's got the freest game in the world, it seems like, now on this anti-mage, which was the last pick by Liquid, seeming to play around it absolutely perfectly. Just keeping the game split push, 40-minute mark, AM with top network by a long shot.
A tithe to the impurities.
TNC, what are they able to get themselves close to? We are closing in on a Hex from Armel. The Bloodborne's going to be the item that Gabby is trying to get done for the team. They're looking for some of that single target lockdown, which may give them some sort of a shot of tackling Miracle.
They needed these quite a while ago, right? The Hex or the Abyssal Blade, some type of instant type of disable to look for Miracle to catch him when he was doing this, but I mean, he's just at way too much of critical mass here. This anti-mage.
Seemingly the perfect pick. And you could definitely see and understand what TNC went for. We heard it from Heen. They wanted to play this pace. And this is what's sort of the risk of running this sort of lineup here on the main stage. If you are unable to get the job done by a certain point, things just grind to a complete stop for your lineup.
Yeah, and you really are starting to understand why they went for the Underlord as well, right? Just to constantly split push the side lanes out. That's what we've seen that hero used for quite a while. Defend towers and then just park yourself, just push out lanes constantly and just get it onto the other side of the map. And that's been the name of the game for Liquid. Push lanes. I know Will is probably in the back like, shove lanes, yes! Like, it really is just a definition of this one entirely for Liquid, just keeping past the river after that early game.
Shadows take us.
Now, they've got a Hex picked up, the blink and the Hex on Armel. See if it can catch Liquid off guard. They're all grouped together.
I mean, that AM kill will be worth a hefty penny.
As long as they can bring him down. He's 28 armor and he's at 70% magic resistance, so can they actually have the damage? With Ghosts, with everything committed, if they can get the chain lockdown, that could be one of the options. But besides without...
They've got to do it twice.
Yeah, without like Death Prophet Ghost, it seems pretty unlikely. Miracle taking 0 damage from that Purifying Flames. And they're just gonna get the push going.
Just in the racks.
Yep. Ghosts are popped. The Hex, he gets Lotus Orb.
It does. He's gonna self-pig himself, arm out.
And GH even stealing Exorcism as well in the backline. He did.
Oh, he did.
Miracle, gotta get stunned up a little bit, but he's just keeping himself shown there for a second, then backs off. But that's what we see. The Ghosts, they have the damage, but can they actually get the catch? It's Miracle. He's blinking away. GH has his Ghosts ready to use. He also has a Refresher Shard on roofing.
Oh, okay. Double Exorcism.
If only they stepped.
Indeed, but just having the duration to be able to push with Miracle again. More than enough time to blink out and away from them. Armel starting to fall low.
Just to the illusions.
Get himself a little bit of a lot of heal from those Ghosts returning in. False Promise being used by AU to try and get him out back to safety. He's just running straight into the midst of them all with a BKB popped up towards the base.
Done AU.
The 5 of them back towards their tier 4s. They'll turn, they'll look for Weehar does fall. They're able to kill the Lesh. Actually measure the high ground on top of Armel. And he quite finishes him off with BKB finish. GH with a refresher shot force. He's up to the high ground and has that Ravage ready to play with. Armel is dead without buyback. AU is dead as well. GH is in. Stolen Ravage out over the 3 of them. They'll lift up the Bristleback, slam him back down. Gabby's out of the game. Miracle's moving in. There'll be a buyback from Gabby. Miracle held back by the Eagles, but we are just runs down Tim's. Tim's dead for nearly 2 minutes. Liquid cleaning up another set of racks. There is no hold and seemingly no chance for TNC to turn this one round right now. Gabby, the final hurrah, as he'll step forward, Manners burnt out, Miracle finishes him off, godlike on the anti-mage. GG. And there we have it, they'll tap themselves out of this. GG is called, TNC are out of the competition, and Liquid, with this Game 2 victory, will move on 2-0.
I mean, what a series from Liquid, bringing it back, making it look like, I mean, the group stages we saw from them, they had some tough